Sunday.
And we've seen a
Sunday.
deterioration, for example, in the family unit as a result of that. And if you had the left in charge, that would have continued. Think about Black Lives Matter. They used to have on their website as one of their tenets there, one of their big beliefs was the destruction of the nuclear family. They wanted to get rid of the nuclear family. Like, how does that? I don't know. Like, it really doesn't. Like, being a nuclear family is actually incredibly important to putting people in a better position because you know what? Then you got two instead of one, all right? And when you have kids, believe me, you need all the help you can get, okay? So having two parents in a household is a big deal, and yet they wanted to destroy this. And I think Chicago has gotten to the point where they realize that this guy I'm about to show you is a total freaking fraud.
As the mayor of this city, I can tell you that Chicagoans are not calling for military occupation. They are calling for the same thing that we've been calling for some time, and that's investment. What safe cities across America all have in common, they invest in people, and that's what we're doing in Chicago. We need the federal resources to make sure that we're building more affordable housing, expanding mental and behavioral health care, education, all of these things that could reduce crime and provide real community safety. Instead of spending hundreds of millions of dollars for a publicity stunt to invoke chaos and terror, the federal government should spend that money on proven solutions to crime and violence reduction. We cannot incarcerate our way out of violence. We've already tried that, and we've ended up with the largest prison population in the world without solving the problems of crime and violence. The addiction on jails and incarceration in this country, we have moved past that. It is racist, it is immoral, it is unholy, and it is not the way to drive violence down. We cannot return to the same failed strategies that got us here in the first place under the previous presidential administration. We requested more federal resources.
All right, guys, let me
to
see.
address gun violence in our city. We continue to make that same call. We have made significant progress on our own, but there is so much more that we can do if we had real support from the federal government.
If we had real support from the federal government. In other words, he just wants a handout, but he doesn't want to actually be responsible for anything, right? He doesn't actually want to ensure that crime rates are going down. He doesn't want more police. I mean, you're talking about a group of people that was all about defund the police. I will never get that. I just never, again, what do you think government's there for? As for the immigration
So you got a few people parked here sitting.
I mean, this is kind of a basic thing that the federal government absolutely has the right to control it. A lot of ability to do a whole lot of things. You know, I'm a small government kind of live free or die gal, but I mean, for goodness sakes, whether it's the Commerce Clause or the Supremacy Clause or there's a naturalization clause. I mean, they got a lot of clauses in the Constitution, and yes, they have control over whether somebody can be in this country or not. And when you get to such a state of lawlessness, like you've seen in the likes of LA and San Francisco, just walk those streets, my gosh, or Chicago or DC.
Chicago or DC.
For the national government to come in and say, okay, we need to do better. How can we do better? How can we help these places? Why won't they take the help? Look at what's going on in Boston with Michelle Wu. Again, the Democrat Party is putting themselves in this position because they are out there fighting for people who are here illegally, who may have committed crimes. You know, La Monica literally out there fighting for them instead of fighting for the actual people that were born and raised here in America.
Yep. It's crazy. Crazy stuff, man. It's early Sunday, 8:30. Bucket Grill's open, man. It's a Bucket Grill, dude. Hey, what's up, VG? How you doing, man? Yeah, I know she commented on that video I did of the older Korean ladies. I feel sorry for that lady that uses the walker. She's always asking for money outside the KFC, and she smokes. And one time I saw her walking out of the KFC, and she had dropped her soda. I felt so bad, man. I wanted to go in there and buy another soda because she uses a walker, so she can't really walk very well. So, but yeah, and then you see a lot of the older Korean people standing in line waiting for the free food that the churches provide. Yeah. Los Angeles, man, this whole country is, I don't know, it's just, there's just too many homelessness, man. Too many homeless people. Let's see, pick up here where we're at. Oh, man, what the hell? Damn it. Did I get it? This thing got stuck on me, huh? Son of a gun, man. Either his phone's acting up or the app is acting up. One of the two. Hey, thank you, Shimei. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you so much for the donation. Happy Sunday. How are things going for you? I hope everything's going well. It's so hot here. Yeah, it's really sad. And also veterans, too. Yeah. There's a lady I want to talk to. I think she's Mexican, but her and some other people were like camped out in front of my building. And I want to find out what the story is. I'm just kind of curious. Man, I got a request, but I couldn't click the app on. I think this person got an order. This older gentleman probably is doing DoorDash. Picked up this order here. Yeah, it sucked. I tried accepting it, but for some reason it wasn't working. This DoorDash app is not working correctly. This old dude. He's got his phone out there. That's funny. Or Agredezco Grill. No, he's going here. Okay, have a great Sunday, Shimei. Good to see you again. Thanks again so much. All right, let me see my friend. Coach, what she said. Her father had a septic attack, so he's in the hospital. I think he's not doing so well. Let me see what she says.
That is hanging in there. Todavía estamos esperando que nos los pasen a la unidad de terapia intensiva aquí, y la verdad es que necesitan ya darle prioridad a eso, porque desde el miércoles estoy esperando una cama y me dicen que aquí ya no lo pueden seguir controlando porque se les está saliendo de control el manejo de papá en ciertos parámetros. Estamos esperando que nos lo cambien a terapia intensiva porque está muy malo, muy delicado, aunque él está resistiendo. pues nosotros aquí al lado de él. Que tengas un buen día, amigo. Al rato voy a tratar de hallar un espacio para llamarte, ¿ok?
Well, I hope your dad gets a bed. That's terrible. He's been waiting since Wednesday for a bed. I can hear the monitor going okay, so I can see his heart is beating. But anyway, I do wish him well, and please keep me posted. Let me know if you need anything, okay? I love you. Bye. So I just sent a message to my friend. Her father's in the intensive care unit, ICU, because he had a septic attack. What it is his blood got infected. Those are pretty hard. Yeah, I think there's Daniel Lord. I don't know if you know that guy hiding in my room. His dad passed away from having septic. What do you call it? Septicemia. A life-threatening complication of an infection. Sepsis occurs when chemicals released in the bloodstream fight an infection, trigger inflammation throughout the body. This can cause a cascade of changes that change multiple organ systems, leading them to fail, sometimes even resulting in death. So symptoms include fever, difficulty breathing, low blood pressure, fast heart rate, and mental confusion. Intravenous fluid. So he's connected to cause immune responses triggered by infection, intravenous fluids, antimicrobials, vasopressors. Here it says, what are the chances of surviving sepsis? Sepsis survival rates vary significantly by the stage of the illness, with mild cases having high survival rates, with severe sepsis and septic shock have higher mortality rates ranging from 30 to over 50%. Early and aggressive treatment is crucial, as delayed treatment increases the risk of death. Factors including survival include the patient's age. He's 80 years old, so he's pretty old, and underlying health conditions. How quickly medical intervention is received. That took him a while. He was supposed to, I think he was like 2 or 3 days late in going to the hospital. So that was not good. It says severe sepsis. Studies show around 40% of patients with severe sepsis do not survive. Wow. So it's like 50-50. Pre-existing conditions. Conditions like diabetes, cerebrovascular disease are associated with shorter survival. Wow. So if you have diabetes, it makes it harder. Cognitive deficits. Wow. Yeah, there's a lot of things that causes septicemia. Sepsis. Well, I hope he gets better. It's hard though, because at age 80, it's really hard to combat any type of illness, because your immune system is not the same as when you're younger, unfortunately. Let me see what's going on outside. So I'm over here at Potato. What's going on?
And it's for years I've been saying the left needs to organize independent media in the way that the right has been doing. The left needs to fund the way that the right does. The right has won even arguably presidential elections because they're organized with regard to online and independent media.
All right, we have some major breaking news. Twitter is blowing up after a group of Washington reporters realized that Donald Trump has not been seen by anybody since
What's
Tuesday.
up, Ducky?
And there
Does
are
templates
no
plus
publicly
more.
planned events for the next few days as well. This is highly unique for the president, who is addicted to cameras. Instead, we've seen Stephen Miller, Caroline Leavitt, J.D. Vance making Fox News appearances, but again, No Donald Trump.
As vice president, you're a heartbeat away from the presidency. And your boss is one of the oldest people to ever be sworn into office. You're one of the youngest people to ever be second in line. Are you ready to assume the role of commander-in-chief? And why should Americans trust you to lead the country?
Well, I've gotten a lot of on-the-job training over the last 200 days, but also say that the president is in incredibly good health. He's got incredible energy. And while most of the people who work around the president of the United States are younger than he is, I think that we find that he actually is the last person who goes to sleep. He's the last person making phone calls at night, and he's the first person who wakes up and the first person making phone calls in the morning. So, yes, things can always happen. Yes, terrible tragedies happen, but I feel very confident the President of the United States is in good shape, is going to serve out the remainder of his term and do great things for the American people. And if, God forbid, there's a terrible tragedy, I can't think of better on-the-job training than what I've gotten over the last 200 days.
I do want to remind
And
you
he's
that for
walking
the
around
past
with
few
DoorDash
weeks,
bag.
there's been a lot of
That's kinda
makeup on
frustrating.
Trump's left hand over his arm due to the purple spots that he has. Now, that in and of itself isn't that irregular. I have family members who have the same thing, but that combined with what Trump says, it then becomes pretty weird. This reads, whispers are traveling through the Washington press pool that Donald Trump has not been seen since Tuesday and has zero publicly planned events through the weekend.
That
This
girl's
clip
walking
that
with
I'm
a
about to
dog.
play is apparently one of the
Oh,
last
man.
times Trump was seen by the press. And I'll play this clip in just one moment. But Laura Rosen broke this by saying, Trump has no public events scheduled all weekend. Don't believe he was seen today
So
either.
tomorrow is
And
Labor
someone
Day.
points out, or yesterday, and she says, a White House pool reporter says the
Man, this
pool
place
did
King
not
Kong
see the
Hulu.
president today. Quote,
Candy.
we have a travel
I've seen this place to
/photo lane
change
as of
business
5:17
hands
p.m. The pool did
so many
not
times.
physically see the president today.
Right now, I do want to get you out to a live look over the White House at this hour as we do talk about the rumors that have blown up all over social media regarding the whereabouts of President Donald Trump. The White House saying he is completely fine. Take a look right here at what I'm talking about. This shows the trending topics there on Twitter or X. Now, over the last several hours, there have been several variations of hashtag where is Trump. The reasoning is that the president is normally in front of the cameras near daily, making some kind of remarks and taking questions from reporters. His last real public appearance was a televised 3-hour meeting with his cabinet. We showed that to you here on Live Now from Fox. That was on Tuesday. For some, his Truth Social post last night about the appeals court ruling on tariffs was enough to calm the chatter, while others on social media expressed different conspiracy theories that it could have been a member of his staff who was posting.
This thing about people getting married on Saturdays during college football season is a scourge, Mr. President. It's dividing families. I don't know if we can have an executive order on this. It's insane, but it's really difficult. There's 7 other months of the year that people can get married, so I just wanted to say that because it's very, very difficult.
The Commander-in-Chief not committing to Rubio's idea of banning weddings on college football Saturdays, but President Trump did seem amused.
That
just want to end it. I want to end it. We're not losing American lives. We're not losing American soldiers. We're losing Russian and Ukrainian, mostly soldiers. Some people, as missiles hit wrong spots or get lobbed into cities like Kiev and towns. But, if I can save 7,000 people a week from being killed, I think that's I want to try and get to heaven if possible. I'm hearing I'm not doing well. I am really at the bottom of the totem pole. But if I can get to heaven, this will be one of the reasons. Well, I think I saved a lot of lives with India, Pakistan. They were going at it. The planes were being shot down. That was going to be maybe a nuclear war if I let that go. And I did that through trade. I was several days later.
It's about midnight on August 30th. You are going to see a lot of left-wing, big-name influencers peddling the conspiracy that Donald Trump is dead. This was all started because Laura Kozian, I think that's how you say her last name, she's a freelance foreign policy journalist who's very well respected, tweeted out that she thinks it's weird that President Trump has not had a public event since Tuesday and does not have any public events going into this weekend. Now, I'm going to tell you the real reason I think that is because there's a pretty good explanation for that. But ever since she tweeted this, left-wing Twitter is celebrating like it's 1999. I am so sick of these people claiming that, when they go low, we go high. We're the party of morals and decency. They're celebrating Trump being dead right now on bullshit rumors.
Word on the streets is that man passed. Word on the streets is that man passed. And I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer or nothing, but it seems a little bit too serendipitous that he perished on Labor Day weekend when everybody already got they grills ready. Everybody already about to barbecue. People got a day off. I don't know. This seems too good to be true. It's just so weird to see how absolutely deplorable and trashy and hateful and disrespectful a lot of people, especially a lot of black people, have become over this election, over a man who's actually helping our community.
Boy. So we got to talk about the blue and on conspiracy theorists who are currently pounding sand over the fact that President Trump is in fact not dead. Okay, he's still alive and breathing. Now, some of you guys may be shocked to hear me say that, kind of thinking like, who thought that Trump was dead? Well, there are a lot of people on the internet, a lot of Trump deranged liberals, psychopaths, who thought that President Trump died and that the White House was hiding it because he hasn't been, quote unquote, seen in public or heard from since Tuesday, except he's been on Truth Social, right? He's been on television. He's been making an announcement like Trump has been around, right? I mean, I think it's very clear that Trump is alive and that he's healthy. But again, like we talked about before in the past, these people are convinced that Trump has died.
And Trump's apparent absence is sparking concerns. One person said, Donald Trump has not been seen in over 24 hours and has no public appearances scheduled for the next 2 days. What is going on? Another remarked, Trump has no public events scheduled all weekend. Don't believe he was seen today either. Now, this brings me on to the clip.
Agrees with it. I don't know if we're ready for it in this country, but we have it. It is. We have no choice. So in D.C. and Washington, states are going to have to make their own decision. But if somebody kills somebody, like you could have been killed, very lucky you didn't get killed, it's the death penalty.
You can see the bruising on his hand right there, which isn't indicative of much until you couple it with his behavior. The thing is, people are speculating, saying a lot of insane things online. We don't know. It's very likely that within 48 hours, there's some new crazy distraction or deportation, and Trump comes out calling the media crazy like he always does. We don't know. We do not know. But I'm going to leave it there. If you appreciate these videos, drop a like.
Well, this morning, take a look
Exactly,
at
Trump
what
won.
Brigade over at Axios posted a short time ago on social media, clearing up any rumors saying that he has talked with those in the know and President Trump is just fine. Here is Ravid's post right there, simply saying, quote, a U.S. official tells me Trump is okay. We'll play golf later this morning. Now, he did also post this one just a short time later, saying a U.S. official does tell me here that the White House pool report shows pool photog snaps pic of POTUS in white polo, red MAGA hat, black pants. POTUS's motorcade began rolling at 8:45 a.m. So again, clearing up those rumors that are circulating all over social media.
Okay, because these are the same people who were not concerned at all about Joe Biden, who apparently had cancer while in the White House and was showing clear signs of physical and cognitive decline that was ignored by these same people in the mainstream media.
As far as I'm concerned, we have to move very aggressively. It is not about, lingering and trying to think that maybe the courts will help us. I want, even though I know it may not happen, the cabinet that he's appointed, a bunch of his sycophants who probably won't do what I would recommend. It is time to call for Article 25 of the Constitution of the United States of America to determine his unfitness, to determine that something's wrong with this president. And I would suggest that we move very aggressively to talk about the danger to this country and to our democracy and not play around with this, because this is absolutely one of the most destructive things that this president could do.
Congresswoman Wasserman Schultz, I mean, your take on this, because I think it's jarring to hear Congresswoman Waters say it's time for the 25th Amendment, but I mean, presidents have been impeached for much less.
This is true.
Ladies and gentlemen, patriots of this great nation of America, good morning, good afternoon, depending. Grab your hats and hold on to your seats, folks, because you're not going to believe the latest stunt from the radical left here. And we have a lot to discuss, a lot to talk about. Please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment. Representative Maxine Waters preaching on the sinking ship that is MSNBC, ranting about how President Donald J. Trump, our duly elected commander-in-chief unanimously, needs to be yanked out of the White House using the 25th Amendment, or she says Article 25. She didn't even know what she's talking about. And yes, you heard that right, folks. She's calling for Article 25 as she fumbled it to declare Trump unfit because he dared to fire a Federal Reserve governor who allegedly misrepresented mortgage information. It seems to be going around a lot here recently. Apparently, that's enough to upend the entire economy and label our president a dictator. Can you believe the audacity? Are you shaking your heads yet? I know I am. But let's talk about the real scandal here, what some of you may have already caught on. And the hypocrisy of the left is so blatant, it's practically glowing in neon rainbow lights. These are the same Democrats who spent years propping up Joe Biden, a man they knew was stumbling, mumbling, a walking bowl of oatmeal, fumbling his way through the presidency. But did they ever once call for the 25th Amendment when Biden was visibly struggling to string a sentence together? Or after he pooped himself aboard Air Force One?
Because you also need the politics part. Like, you got to be able to sell what you've been able to do. One of the things I tried to get the president, people in the administration do is, I said, Mr. President, and I said this on this flight that we took, we were down in Charleston, visiting Mother Emanuel, and then flew to Dallas.
Is that when he pooped his pants, allegedly?
I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
I'm serious. They said that the last time he visited Mother Emanuel and me, he pooped his pants.
Charlemagne, you saying something that literally,
I'm not even joking.
Man, that's some crazy. That's some crazy talk. That's some crazy talk, because I was, again, with the president all day. We even went to, what's this?
We all lost during the Biden years because we had a president who wasn't mentally fit.
Not great in the pocket.
No, he was not. There was nothing going on in the pocket. There was nothing in the pocket.
He was mentally out of pocket.
He was out of
He was out of pocket. Oh man, he was out of pocket.
House Oversight Committee has continued to probe and go down that list of people who should have let us know that we had our presidency on autopilot. And here's what's happening next on Friday. Andrew Bates, who's the former deputy assistant of the president, he's going to be interviewed. Karine Jean-Pierre on September 12th. She was, of course, the White House press secretary. She should have known what was going on. And then on September 18th, Jeff Zients, former White House chief of staff. Here's Charlemagne the God talking to a DNC chair, Jamie Harrison.
I'm going to sign off, guys, and I'll go live later. But anyway, thanks for hanging out. I just wanted to say hello and say happy Sunday morning. Have a great day, guys.
Didn't want
See
to
you
tell
later.
the truth. Watch.
If I'm the DNC chair,